Geography shapes Egyptian life. How did the Egyptians use the land around the Nile? Farming techniques. By about 2400 BC, farmers used technology to expand their farmland. Working together, they dug irrigation canals that carried river water to dry areas. Then they used a tool called a shadoof to spread the water across the fields. These innovative or new techniques gave them more farmland. Farming in the Nile Valley. Ancient Egyptians grew a large variety of food. They grew large amounts of wheat and barley. They were the first to grind wheat into flour and to mix the flour with yeast and water to make dough rise into bread. They grew vegetables such as lettuce, radishes, asparagus, and cucumbers. Fruits included dates, figs, grapes, and watermelons. They raised cattle, goats, sheep, and pigs for food. From these animals, the Egyptians got meat and milk products, including cheese. Egyptians also grew the materials for their clothes. They were the first to weave fibers from flax plants into a fabric called linen. Lightweight linen cloth was perfect for hot Egyptian days. Men wore linen wraps around their waists. Women wore loose, sleeveless dresses. Egyptians also wove marsh grasses into sandals. Egyptian houses. Egyptians built houses using bricks made of mud from the Nile, mixed with chopped straw. They placed narrow windows high in the walls to reduce bright sunlight. Egyptians often painted walls white to reflect the blazing heat. They wove sticks and palm trees to make roofs. Inside, woven reed mats covered the dirt floor. Most Egyptians slept on mats covered with linen sheets. Wealthy citizens enjoyed bed frames and cushions. Egyptian nobles had fancier homes with tree-lined courtyards for shade. Some had a pool filled with lotus blossoms and fish. Poorer Egyptians simply went to the roof to cool off after sunset. They often cooked, ate, and even slept outside. Mining. The Egyptians wanted valuable metals that were not found in the Black Land. For example, they wanted copper to make tools and weapons. Egyptians looked for copper as early as 6000 BC. Later, they learned that iron was much stronger and they sought it as well. Ancient Egyptians also desired gold for its bright beauty. The Egyptian word for gold was nub. Nubia was the Egyptian name for the area of the Upper Nile that had the richest gold mines in Africa. Mining minerals was difficult. Veins of copper, iron, and bronze were hidden inside desert mountains in the hot Sinai Peninsula, east of Egypt. Even during the cool season, chipping minerals out of the rock was miserable work. Egyptians mined precious stones too. They were probably the first people in the world to mine turquoise. The Egyptians also mined lapis lazuli. These beautiful blue stones were used in jewelry. Fishing and hunting. The Nile had fish and other wildlife that Egyptians wanted. To go on the river, Egyptians made lightweight rafts by binding together reeds. They used everything from nets to harpoons to catch fish. One ancient painting even shows a man ready to hit a catfish with a wooden hammer. More adventurous hunters speared hippos and crocodiles along the Nile. Egyptians also captured quail with nets. They used boomerangs to knock down flying duck and geese. Transportation and trade. Eventually, Egyptians equipped their reed boats with sails and oars. The Nile then became a highway. The river's current was slow, so boaters used paddles to go faster when they traveled north with the current. Going south, they raised a sail and let the winds that blew in that direction push them. The Nile provided so well for Egyptians that sometimes they had surpluses or more goods than they needed. They began to trade with each other. Ancient Egypt had no money, so people exchanged goods that they grew or made. This method of trade is called bartering. The ancient Egyptians were wonderful traders. They traded gold, papyrus, linen, and grain for cedar, wood, ebony, copper, iron, ivory, and lapis lazuli. Ships sailed up and down the Nile River, bringing goods to various ports. Once goods were unloaded, goods were hauled to various merchants by camel, cart, and on foot. Egyptian traders met traders from other civilizations just beyond the mouth of the Nile to trade for goods brought to them, but they did not often travel themselves much beyond the Nile River.